further ado, like I said, we've had a lot of people talking about it in the comments. Let's go over what we're going to see at AEW All Out. I don't know who all the competitors are for the women's battle royal, as they haven't named all of the names out of that, but I do know that the winner is going to get a future title shot, whether that be against the Doctor, Britt Baker, DMD, or whoever may be the champion out of All Out. That being said, from what I can see here, I mean, like I said, this match is, I mean, this card as a whole is just, I don't know, dude. Like I said, it's stacked from top to bottom. I mean,
So
I
you
don't
just want
really.
to have us give somebody who we think's gonna win, so we can go on the next one. So like, or like a special appearance we think might happen.
Well, yeah, we can start with that. Do you guys think? We're going to see any big debuts? I mean, that being said, there was a lot of talk about they may have moved. Well, I was going to say I've heard there's been talk of Brian's debut being moved up. Kyle, Dom, do either of you guys? So, Dom, I'm assuming you think we're going to see one American Dragon, Mr. Bryan Danielson?
I mean, I'm not going to say it for sure, but what is Washington on the list anywhere in the near future? If
it ain't here, you got the big show at New York too, at the Arthur Ashe Fieldhouse, the tennis stadium.
How far away is that?
Within like 2 weeks.
Okay, then possibly. I'm saying he might possibly debut here, but why not hold him off for 2 weeks? However, if you were to try and say, well, why not tomorrow on Dynamite? Pop a rating and make Dynamite. Because if you're gonna watch All Out, you're already gonna watch it. CM Punk's back; it's his first match. You don't need to bring someone now. So why wouldn't you wait until Dynamite to bring him back? But
that's why I could see him maybe being held off till New York. But what about you, Kyle? What do you think? Do you think we're going to see it?
I'm sorry, I wasn't quite done. TNT has said, I would do that personally. I would save him for Dynamite. However, TNA has expressed to
TNT.
Yes, TNT has expressed to AEW they don't like surprises. Now they pulled Punk, right? But that wasn't really a surprise, as I had said earlier. How did you not expect it? Because they were saying, things like, I can't tell you that. Before they were saying, no, we don't have him signed. Now that people are asking, they're like, I can't tell you that. So they kept saying that repeatedly in the weeks upcoming, but they were really hyping up something big's going to happen here in week 2. We're going to be in Chicago. Like, you don't get to say those things and be in Chicago and burn your fans. If AEW has its ear to the ground at all, fans weren't particularly happy about the Christian surprise. So, it's not that we don't like Christian, but when you said Hall of Fame, people were saying Brock, Cena, Punk, or
Well, I was in the building the night that all went down, and I can tell you just from the fans that were around me. First of all, Devin, no bell for you to ring, and shout out to the new father. Shout out to Devin on the new baby and all that good stuff.
Congratulations.
Hell yeah. That being said, though, man, even in the arena at Revolution in Jacksonville, man, the names that you just mentioned, Brock, obviously Punk, Cena. Well, I don't think anybody in Jacksonville really thought it'd be Cena, but I know for sure. I
heard that online.
Brock's name was definitely thrown all around the crowd. So, I mean, I definitely think he would have been one. I personally, being an Attitude Era fan, wasn't mad at Christian Cage coming back, and I think he's done very well since they brought him over. But I agree with you. I think with the way that they hyped it up, I feel like they almost backed themselves into a corner to where if they didn't deliver the big rock star,
here,
right,
that's 2 big strikes,
and that's the thing. Even if you look at Chicago,
Chicago.
Well, not only that, Tony Khan had almost let the cat out of the bag because a day or so before, didn't he come out and essentially just be like, everybody knows we all know what everybody thinks is going to happen. And
back all the way so we can keep this moving. Hold on, so we can keep it moving. I wouldn't do it. I wouldn't do Danielson right now. I'd save him right before the New York show. But you do Adam Cole. Have Adam Cole come out because.
Do you really think he's leaving? Because I've heard they offered him $1 million a year to stay.
I've heard last thing I heard earlier today, he is a 100% free agent. He's looking at all offers. It just makes more sense. I mean, his friends are in AEW, his girlfriend's in AEW, and he'll have more freedom to wrestle the way he wants. He did everything he needed to do in NXT. So the only place for him to go would have been the main roster, and they promised how many things they were going to do for him, and then look at what they did. So to me, it's almost smarter to go to AEW.
I agree with you. I can't really argue it.
How many more slots does AEW have open for people, though? You got to look at some point. There isn't enough television time, and they're going to have to go to 2 hours for Rampage and to fit all of these people. You know what I mean? Like I would think that after Adam Cole, no, I'm just saying they're probably going to have to expand Rampage to 2 hours, and when they do, like if they do that, they'll probably. But I'm just saying, even after that, I think they're probably kind of done with acquiring. I would imagine
Cole and Bryan.
Right, after
really
those two,
else that would really fit because Braun doesn't fit that. Braun is sports entertainment.
Ospreay?
Bray doesn't fit that. He's sports
Ospreay's still in New Japan.
Right, but I'm saying
I'm saying Bray. I'm saying Bray Wyatt.
I think Bray's Bray. I would say Bray too. I would want Bray for the Dark Order.
I think that would be cool, but it's like his best gimmicks are inherently sports entertainment. Like I could almost see him fitting in more in Impact because Impact earlier this year had a Who Shot JR, Who Shot Mr. Burns type parody. So I'm like that almost fits more with Impact because they do lean a little more into the sports entertainment side sometimes. But Adam Cole, to me, it makes even more sense than Danielson because he's still gonna want to go over to New Japan, so he may not be there every week. But this one, if you're gonna pop somebody, you've already brought out CM Punk. It's Adam Cole, baby.
Yeah, I agree with you, man. There's a good chance, but I mean, I'm still not convinced that he's leaving WWE. But like you said, let's get the show on the road. We won't go into a full breakdown of everything. We've already talked about Punk versus Darby Allin. So briefly, who are you got? Well, we talked about him making his return, but what do you think about him versus Darby? Do you think there's any chance he's losing in his return here?
There shouldn't be. In Chicago?
I don't think there's any way he's losing. So if I'm making my prediction, CM Punk is going to go over here, but I feel like he's going to he's definitely going to make a star out of Darby Allin, or at least try to in this match.
Of course. I
like that AEW doesn't do a lot of screwy finishes and distracted finishes for the most part.
They'll do a lot of false finishes.
Being a way of protecting. Yeah. I could see that being a way of protecting both of them because Punk needs this win, but Darby needs the rub. So do something that does both. Darby still looks good in the feed, but there's no way you have Punk lose his first match in 7 years in Chicago. You can't do that.
I completely agree. So let's talk about one of the returns that we know is coming on Saturday night. We have the return of Paul White, or the Big Show, as other people may have known him in other places. Hey man, well, he's gonna choke slam QT Marshall. I'm just saying, I'm gonna pick Paul White on this one. But what are your guys' thoughts on Paul White coming back? And do you think Mr. Marshall might be taking a ride on the choke slam come Saturday?
You want to get my opinion out of the way? I don't have too much to say. I mean,
go ahead.
QT Marshall, I'm really waiting and hoping he shows me something interesting. So, yeah, I think that Big Show is going to get that feel-good, choke slam moment, and that'll be that. Maybe QT Marshall might get some heat back at the end by getting Big Show attacked, but I don't see QT Marshall winning this match.
I actually think they could do a swerve, and QT gets the win, and we see more Big Show crying. That's all. That was always fun to see Big Show crying because he just couldn't cry on command. So maybe I think that would be a good idea because you can't have too many of the other guys win. So I'm like, why not give it to QT?
I mean, I could see it being something to where they got to jump him in. Go ahead, Cory.
I was just going to say I agree with your point because of the simple fact that he's not going to be doing a ton of shows. They're going to maybe bring him in the once every couple months or something like that. So,
All right,
why
this isn't
have him come
WWE.
in? Why not have somebody come in and be able to build a name for themselves, somebody that you'll be able to follow on a more consistent basis compared to just having the Big Show get a win on a pay-per-view. But
It depends on the question is how much faith do they have in QT Marshall and how good of friends is he with Cody? That's really the true question.
Well, I think it more comes down to how much they really plan on using that factory storyline and using him on TV. So it looks like we're pretty much split down the middle. We got two on a swerve and we've got two for the Big Show. All right, the next match we got on here, like I said, if you guys are fans of one Jon Moxley, make sure you hit that subscribe button because we are going to be talking to his coach, Gil Guardado of Extreme Couture MMA. You also might have seen him in Josh Barnett's Bloodsport, which recently went down. We'll be bringing him down and talk a little bit about how Jon Moxley has incorporated a little bit of MMA to help him get ready for the pro wrestling side of things. That being said, what are your thoughts on Jon Moxley taking on Japanese legend Satoshi Kojima? Kyle, I know you're more up on the Japan stuff. What are your thoughts about Kojima coming over to come see us in Chicago and taking on Jon Moxley?
Are you gonna bring it back?
I love it because it's not usually he's not one of the superstar wrestlers I
wasn't excited or I
to
asked
come
earlier.
over, but his style is gonna mix very well with Mox's, and I am a CM Punk homer. I've always said that he's in my top 10. He's the guy that got me back into wrestling a decade ago. But I'm watching. If no other match on this card I was gonna watch, it would be Punk versus Darby. But I think of everything on this card, the one that could steal the show could be this match.
All right. So who are you picking in that one? Who'd you take? You're taking Mox or Kojima?
I'm gonna take Mox.
Okay. Dom, where are you at? Mox and Kojima, how are you feeling about it?
It's an AEW pay-per-view. Pay-per-view. It's an AEW pay-per-view. It's an AEW pay-per-view, so I'm taking Mox.
Are you excited to see Kojima though in an American match?
Yeah, I'm excited to see it. I just think that Mox.
Yeah,
I think over.
Yeah. I think we're all on the same page. I think Mox is getting the W here, but I think it's going to be a hard-hitting, strong style match. I think they're going to beat the shit out of each other because personally, I think they might be trying to set it up to finally put it together for Mox to face Tanahashi whenever that can be made to happen. They've talked about that multiple times now, so I think it's only a matter of time until we see that happen. All right, we're to our first championship of the night, and let me tell you, I am a big fan of what we've seen from this guy, and if you guys have not been to any of our pay-per-view parties, which Dom got in with us a little bit after that, I believe. I don't know if you've ever come out to any of the pay-per-view parties, but if you ever have been to any of our pay-per-view parties, you would know our homies from Breaking Down the Ring. They got to have Eddie Kingston on back when we were doing our thing with Evolve, so make sure you go check out the homies and check out their chat with Eddie Kingston. With that being said, in our next match, you got the AEW TNT Championship on the line as you've got God's favorite champion, self-proclaimed, in Miro taking on Eddie Kingston for the AEW TNT Championship. I like this match. I think they're going to beat the holy shit out of each other. But being a good and gracious host like I am, I want your guys' opinions first. So whoever wants first, who are you guys picking out of Miro and Eddie Kingston?
Was it just me or did he freeze for a bit?
Could have. It's technology. It's 2021. It could have very well happened.
I just want to know if I was alone.
I don't know.
Yeah.
It very well could have been.
I think it's Miro, and I would say I actually think that this could be, if they really want to build Miro up to be a world beater, I would have him squash him.
Wow. Okay. Even at Kingston. I would have him
do it. It would get the IWC in a complete filibuster mode. Everybody's going to be tweeting. It's going to be all over Bleacher Report. I would do that because imagine the promo that comes that next week on Dynamite with Kingston having to explain himself. So that's something I would love to see. Just
can we get a time limit on how
Miro up on an even higher one?
Can we get a time limit on how long you think this match will go? Like when you say squash, how long do you think this match will be?
Under 8 minutes.
Because I was gonna
Under
say
8 minutes.
under 10. So when you said squash and talking about it like that, I thought you were saying like he's gonna come in and in 3 minutes it's done. Like he just comes in and beats the crap out of him.
Because Mr. Brody Lee, he beat Cody in I think it's like 7 something, and that was one-sided as hell. So I would like to see something similar to this one. Maybe he gets in 2 moves, but other than that, Miro's beating the shit out of him.
I think Eddie Kingston might throw in some offense in the very beginning. He might get 2 moves in the middle, and then the rest is probably going to be Miro. So he says under 8 minutes. I say under 10. I don't think it's going to. I would say
we're probably going 10 to. I think we're going to go 10 to 12, and here's why. The only reason I say that is because I think this is the perfect match. As you guys have said, Miro has blown through pretty much everybody he's faced so far since he's won the TNT title. I think this is the perfect match for him to have a guy who we all know is a tough son of a bitch and won't back down from him. So I feel like that'll give you a little bit of time for them to maybe fight it out a little bit. But I think at the end of the day, I think Miro is still going to get that badass Cobra clutch and win via submission. I don't think we're getting a new champion, but I would say on the old.
I don't think you're gonna get Eddie Kingston to tap.
Okay, even if he puts him to sleep, I still think the match is ending by that badass Cobra clutch. Yeah. And I think
I don't think Kingston's tapping.
Oh, I won't argue that. I mean, Eddie Kingston could definitely go to sleep, but I think either way, I think that's how that match ends.
Then Kingston can still say, "Yeah, I never tapped." And it'd be one of those like Brett and Austin things.
It still keeps him tough.
Right. So we just find the perfect way to book this ending? Is that what we're saying?
I mean, hey, we used to have a thing on this show that WWE was listening in on the shit that we used to say because for a while, I mean, it seemed to happen pretty damn close to what we would say on the show.
Some of the writers were watching. They weren't sharing it, but they were watching.
I'm just saying. Well, a match that I'm really excited about going into this card that I personally believe can very well steal this whole fucking card based off the last All Out, which, no belt for you to ring, Devin, but I was there for that one. That's where we got to interview Diamond Dallas Page.
I'm going to be right back. I'm going to be listening.
Go ahead.
I'll meet my mic.
Pac versus Kenny Omega was one of the best fucking matches of All Out when I was there the last time. So Pac versus Andrade El Idolo on this one, to me, is going to be, dude, holy shit. I feel like that could be a very well a show stealer of a match. I think the story of this match all comes down to how much time they got. What do you think about this matchup, Kyle?
This is one I'm excited for because I'm a big Pac fan. I have been for a while. He was one of the first people I was really excited. I'd say back around when that time happened, him and Cody were 2 guys I was extremely happy they got released because I knew they would be able to really flourish someplace else. I would love to see Pac win and really continue his the strong push he's been getting, but I'm a big Andrade fan, so he needs to start off his AEW career the right way and going versus a guy like Pac who is extremely athletic, and they have 2 very complementary but still very different styles. I think Andrade needs to win this one, and I think this match goes over 10 minutes.
I would say you're probably right. Who are you picking in this one? Who'd you pick? Andrade? Yeah, I'm kind of in the same boat, dude. I think Andrade's got to get the win on this one, and obviously getting a win over Pac would do that. Dom is coming back into the room here.
I was listening.
Dom, who are you picking, Andrade or Pac?
Okay, well, I got to rewind a little bit before I give this answer. I think it was a mistake that Pac wasn't able to beat, or I'm sorry, Andrade was not able to beat Kenny Omega for the AAA championship, and instead of I think they did it backwards with Cage winning Impact. I think that instead of Kenny losing the Impact title on Rampage, I think he should have lost at AAA to Andrade. Andrade needs the rub more. And I think that this is going to be the death of Death Triangle. I think that eventually the Lucha Brothers will join Andrade. Andrade is at least on social media campaigning himself as the greatest thing ever to come south of the border, like the greatest Mexican to be, Mexican-born Mexican. So he's basically saying anybody Mexican minus Rey Mysterio because he was born, north of the border. I do think that Andrade is going to get this win, and this is going to be part of that rift that eventually, separates Death Triangle, and they're going to join Andrade.
All right, definitely a different take and something I wouldn't be shocked with. But I mean, I hope that doesn't mean anything bad for Pac, because I really got to admit, me personally, the whole bastard version of Pac, dude, I've loved it. I feel like we kind of got gypped a little bit as we couldn't get him over. We couldn't get him over here for a lot of the time because of the COVID and pandemic stuff with him being in England. I really feel like there was a lot of really cool ass shit that we could have seen, especially when they first formed the Death Triangle, had them come together and look all dope, and then Pac couldn't get into the country. Right. Eddie Kingston pulled him away because Pac couldn't get into the country, and then you pick up where they left off. I like the group, but I think that we missed out on a lot of dope stuff that we could have really seen because of the pandemic. But I agree with you in this one. I think I feel like Andrade's got to get the dub here, but I really hope that however it happens, I think Pac is not going to allow us to get out of this match without him really showing out too. What were you going to say?
Me or going to go to?
No, I thought you were about to say something.
I do. I just didn't want to.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
We were talking about Andrade. I do in Pac. I feel like Pac is, just as they had to try and bring Hangman down a second so they can take time away from him, to challenge from the title, because I think that Hangman's eventually going to take it off of him, but it's off of Omega, but it's too soon for that. So they had to do something to bring him down a peg. I think this is what will keep Pac away from the title picture a little longer. I do think that he will work his way up there eventually. I don't think that this is going to necessarily be the end of Pac. I just think that Pac's going to go off and do his own singles thing.
I agree. I think at some point Pac definitely will be around that AEW world title. I don't think there's anybody in here really that will argue that too much. Well, we're talking about championship matches, and we talked about Death Triangle. Well, the next match that they got on this card, you got AEW Tag Team Championship. You got the Young Bucks versus the Lucha Brothers in a steel cage match. Now, sidebar, before we get into our picks for this match, we talk about long-term storytelling. Everybody knows there's the feud between the Lucha Brothers and the Young Bucks, but even if you throw in the show, because at the last All Out, that was in this, well, not only that, but you throw in the last match at All Out in the same arena, it was the Young Bucks versus the Lucha Brothers in a ladder match. Now you have gone back 2 years later and have upped it, and now only are we talking about a stipulation match like a ladder match, a steel cage match with these four people. I mean, dude, this match, you talk about matches that can steal the card. I mean, this is a match that could very well, again, steal the whole damn card. So for me, this is one I'm really looking forward to. But the question is, do you really think that this is the match where somebody finally can take the belts off the Bucks? I think Pentagon and Phoenix might be the team to do it, but I don't know with how hot the Bucks are that I really see them losing. With this being early in the match, though, you heard it here first. I'm telling you right here and now, if the Bucks lose earlier in the match, I think it might be a bad night for Kenny Omega. But if we're picking one in this match, I think the Young Bucks will keep the titles in this one. But what are your guys' thoughts on the Young Bucks versus the Lucha Brothers?
Short answer, I like the Lucha Bros. I think it's a good way to shake up the tag division. I think this would be something that would shock a lot of people. I would not mind seeing the Lucha Bros be the ones that dethrone the Young Bucks.
Okay. Dom, what about you? Do you think we're going to see new champions, and do you think that this could tie into the whole Death Triangle thing?
All right. I'm glad you asked it that way, because I was going to go that way. It does if they want to imply or have Andrade slip something in between the steel cage, like if it's a kendo stick, because, apparently wrestling, we love kendo sticks. maybe
They
some
always do have a fucking
Right.
stick under every fucking
Right.
ring in America.
Or, maybe some brass knuckles or something. If he slides something in between the gates and they end up deciding to use it, like maybe at first they kick it to the side and go, we don't need it. And then eventually they decide that they do. And so they end up taking it and using it. That might say like, hey, I have your guys' back. Where was Pac? Where was he? I had your back right here. So, and it could
What's
also,
not to love about beating people with sticks?
is that JKB?
Yeah,
It's gotta be, definitely. As lost my spot. So
who are
it
you
could
picking,
also,
Young Bucks or Pentagon of them?
well, I mean, I think it's more likely the Young Bucks are going to win. I'm just saying I could see a scenario where it could make Kenny kind of look a little weak, make the Elite look weak, that maybe Christian might end up winning this one. But I do think I'm bleeding over. I think Kenny is going to win against Christian. So it could make that sell a little bit and say this might be not the night for the Elite, but I am more leaning towards they retain. I would just, if they lose, I would like to see Andrade aid the Lucha Brothers from outside the cage.
I can respect that. Again, that goes into the storytelling like we talked about. All right. The next match.
Before
Go ahead,
you jump
Cory.
over real quick, because I am, attending the event and all. You hadn't watched the.
To be fair, Cory, at least preface the fact that I told you I want your picks on all of it. You were like, I'm going to lay out and let them do it. So it is not at all that I had said.
And I was wondering, like, is he not going to speak up and tell us? Like, where's
No,
his
he
prediction on all this?
The ones that speak out to me, I'm going to speak out on, is how I kind of preferenced it. This being one of them. I feel like the match last year, why is their name escaping me right now? The current tag champ.
Young Bucks.
Young Bucks. Their match last year when you had me check out AEW for the first
Full
time,
Gear. You watched some Full Gear against FTR.
They were one of my standout performers on the night, was their ability to show up and show out, I guess you could say. And that, like you had preferenced, was, I believe, a ladder match in that one. And with the steps being upped, I guess you could say, in this one, going into the cage, being that this is going to be my first time near a cage match, it does add a layer of interest to it. I'm excited to see what the Young Bucks do. I'm excited to see what the cage adds to it. I'm excited for the match in general. As for picks, I'm not going that deep into it, but I'm excited for the match itself. That is one that stands out.
If I might give you a little something to expect for your cage match. Usually the concept of the cage is to keep everyone out. But, and hopefully AEW will stay true to this, but if WWE is any indication, it doesn't mean nobody's going to get involved. Somebody can always, like, in WWE, they'll always say, like, open up the door so I can escape by opening up the door. But, like, what's the point of climbing over the top if you can escape through the door? One thing to look out for is, are they going to allow the referees to open up the door and have them escape? I think that's kind of lame.
I was going to say, I think in AEW, if I'm not mistaken, the last cage match I can really remember outside of the War Games match was the one they had between Cody and Wardlow. And if I'm not mistaken, in that match, they said that the only way you were able to win was either climbing out or you had to pin your opponent.
Okay.
JKB coming in magically be breaking locks on doors. I mean, hey, dude, Kane and The Undertaker might have been able to do it. I mean, let's just look back at Hell in a Cell. I mean, shit can happen. Mark Henry just, Kane technically ripped the door off too, but.
So what if they come out with bowl cutters? If they spend a lot of time talking about the fact that, what kind of lock is on the door, like, look, they're locking it up. They're you think that's a sign that I'm asking you? Do you think that's a sign that somebody might come out with some bowl cutters?
if they do some shit like that, I mean, sure. But I think just based upon the fact that the Young Bucks have Don Callis in their corner, I think it's probably a pretty safe thing to say that there's no chance that at least not one, if not all of them, are going to end up involved at some point in this match. I think that that's pretty much just a given. I mean, I think I wouldn't be shocked.
You're saying Andrade is about to give Don Callis a Hurricane Rana? Is that what you're saying?
Well, Andrade's not in a cage match, but
No, but if he helps the Lucha Brothers, Andrade.
well, I mean, if he felt so inclined, I mean, I would piss my pants laughing if Don Callis took a Hurricane Rana off the top of the cage. I'm just going to throw it out there.
I didn't say off the top of the cage. I was more thinking off of like the barricade. In a suit, no less. Dress shoes.
I mean, however he's taking it. If Don Callis takes one, I think Don Callis might piss his pants too.
I'm saying Andrade still in a suit.
Right. Well, sure, but I'm saying if I think Don Callis, who we know is going to be in a suit, you want to talk about
always
maybe
in a suit.
Right. I think he might wet his suit if we see him getting dropped off there.
Speaking of Don Callis,
I mean, that's a perfect way to get into
that's
what
Vince
world I was
McMahon's
going to
humor
bring up.
right there.
Pretty much, but I mean, we all know that that's wrestling humor too.
I digress.
But you've got Chris Jericho, a fellow Winnipegger and friend of Don Callis, against one MJF. Now, let's not forget that Jericho also said if he loses against MJF, that he's leaving AEW. So, what are your guys' thoughts on Chris Jericho versus MJF? And before you guys give your picks, I, for one, just want to talk about the fact that we've talked a lot about storytelling throughout this whole show. Dude, the way they told that through the 5 labors of Jericho, and the fact that they brought out Hoovy, and the fact that they brought all that and the different elements of his career, even if you didn't enjoy the story, I at least appreciate the fact that they had layers.
I got one nitpick. I think they should have switched the Nick Gage and the Hoovy labors. I think Nick Gage should have been labor 3 and Hoovy should have been labor 2. Because how do you go from death match to off the top rope finisher? You know what I mean?
That's a fair point.
Other than that, it was good. I liked it. I thought that was odd order of things. How do you go from death match to off the top rope finish?
I respect that, but how are you guys feeling about the match though? Do you think with Jericho going back on tour with Fozzy and all that, do you think that means he loses? Because at the same time, as part of me, in just logic wise, wants to think that maybe MJF is going to win. At the same hand, with everything that's gone into it, I find it really hard to believe that Jericho is taking another dub.
Do you think that it's time Jericho goes heel?
Wasn't he already heel?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. He hasn't been. It doesn't feel like he's been a face for that long. Even though there's been at least 5 weeks with the labors, but it doesn't feel like he's been a baby face that long. It's been since Tyson, right? When was that?
A few months ago.
Because we're seeing a lot of the celebration of his career and everything. I would love to see him win, and I would love to see him do the Eddie Guerrero cheat to win. I think that would, because he's best friends with Eddie. I would love to see MJF's trying to cheat. Ref doesn't see it. He grabs the chair, does the Eddie, boom, or the ref takes away the chair. He low blows MJF, and that's how he wins to at least pop the crowd. I think that would be pretty cool.
I think we're on the same page, though. I think I'm in the same boat as you. I feel like even though it would be set up maybe so that MJF would win, I feel like Jericho has to win this one.
I do feel like Jericho has to win, but I don't want to see it. I don't want to see Jericho beat him unless he's going to be straight up badass heel. I do understand the moment of him getting a low blow when he could still be a baby face. And I don't know that just because Jericho turns heel that it automatically turns MJF babyface, because MJF can still be the sniveling shit.
MJF's going to be a fucking heel until he dies.
Right. So I'm saying you could still have Jericho turn heel and not.
But I don't think you turn him heel unless he's going to be able to have that big run. And with him getting ready to go do the whole tour thing, I just don't know that now is the time that they do that. I mean, if anything, whenever they come back to, I think, hell, if you're gonna make him heel again, do that when they come back and they eventually break up the inner circle. Whenever that happens, but I think
hear you. I'm just saying,
I
don't want to see Jericho beat MJF in principle. I don't want to see this. Like I can't.
But
say
Jericho, but I mean, MJF already got his on Jericho, though, when he threw him off the cage and everything else, too.
Awesome. Let him have it. Jericho doesn't need it. Jericho is Chris Jericho.
I agree.
He
I'm
doesn't
not saying
need
that
it.
it wouldn't help Jericho or MJF.
Just let MJF walk. You are still Chris Jericho. I don't want to see a match where you lose your career, and I don't want to see a match where you beat MJF either. Neither one. This is like John Cena versus Roman Reigns again. I don't want to see either outcome. It's like I don't want to see this. Like
I can respect that though, but that I guess is what makes it interesting too. Go ahead, Corey.
As somebody who's attending the event, it seems like every single bigger AEW event, they have some type of storyline, whether it be with their factions going against each other or a direct match between the two. I am just.
But this has been drawn out too, though. Just
very long. It's just a very long feud.
I get like your whole point, Kyle, with like the match or storytelling and stuff like that, and trying to build into a match and stuff. But it's one thing when you're building into a match or maybe one or two. But it seems like this is like the 7th time now that I've seen these guys go against each other. And it's just like, how many different like variations of like stipulations are you guys going to put on the same fucking match?
So you want this to be the last one for them?
No, because I don't like what's MJF. I don't like him, so I want to see fucking Jericho win. So I don't want it to be. I want it to be the end of this. Like you said, I don't necessarily want to see this. I don't necessarily want to see the end of Jericho because he has been one of the bright sides in my eyes of AEW. But that being said, this match, I'm sick of this match. I've seen this match from every big event that they've done. Some variation of it. I'm just this match.
I get that.
Yeah,
I get that.
Yeah,
so I think we're all on the same. We're all on the same edge that we think Jericho's probably going to win this one. But I wouldn't be shocked. I think MJF eventually, it's going to do him more good to get the rub out of this one. But nonetheless, regardless of how this happens, I feel like we're going to see some crazy shit come out of that because I feel like for this being the big end all match, if that's what this ends up being,
what are the odds of Floyd making an appearance?
Oh shit! If we were doing prop bets, I mean, a Floyd appearance would be a pretty good prop bet,
right?
I think it's pretty inevitable on that one. I think he's going to try to, especially if the match gets a little out of hand.
I suppose the better question is, what are the odds of Jericho connecting with MJF with Floyd, and what are the odds of MJF connecting to Jericho with Floyd?
I think it's just whoever gets to it first, but I mean, Floyd will be involved in it somehow, regardless.
No, I'm saying the better prop bets. Floyd.
Well, the better prop bet.
Right, I'm saying.
I think the better prop bet would be it just being involved, because I mean, as far as who's going to use it, I mean, I would say Jericho would be the better prop bet since it's his. I would guess.
You're saying that'd be more likely.
Yeah, more likely. If you're going to bet on what's the more likely to happen, that would be the one I would take. But that being said, we got one more match left to talk about. We've already talked a little bit about CM Punk versus Darby Allen. I think we all agree. I think Punk is probably going to get the dub out of that one. But in the main event, you have Christian Cage versus Kenny Omega. And a point that you brought up, Dom, that I couldn't agree with you more. I do wish that things might have been a little bit more mixed up. I kind of wish that maybe Kenny lost the title to Andrade for the simple fact that then if Christian wins here at All Out, it would be the first time we've seen him lose. Then again, I also like the idea of the fact that he lost the Impact title to a former Impact champion. So I think the way they got out of it wasn't bad either. But as far as this match,
it wasn't bad, just not the best.
I agree. I see your point with that. But I mean, again, I'm not mad at the way they got out of it. As far as this match here with Kenny and Christian again, I think if Kenny again, I think the Young Bucks match is going to be real telling on what we see here. But I think if Kenny loses, this is going to be the beginning of the crumbling of the Elite. That being said, I don't know that they'll let Christian beat Kenny 2 straight matches. That's why in this one, I think Christian is going to defeat, Kenny Omega is going to defeat Christian.
I'll let somebody else go
I
first.
can't see them doing that. I can't see them doing that for 2 titles in a row, 2 matches in a row, basically. I would like to see it be an entertaining match, but I mean, I don't know what more they can do. I mean, they did have a really good title match for the Impact and TNA titles. So
Great match.
I don't know what more they can do. So I wouldn't be surprised if this one is the one that gets not overbooked, but you throw a lot in there because what more can they do that we haven't seen?
And they'll have more time, you think, with it being a pay-per-view?
I wouldn't mind seeing this one not be like, I don't need this one to be 20 minutes. Like, I've seen that. I wouldn't mind this one
but it's the
being
main
a
event,
mid-card
though.
match, and I wouldn't mind this one being the one that you see maybe Adam Cole or Daniel Bryan or something, some type of chicanery. Bucks come out, Callis does something, and it just really sends people home pissed off that Kenny's still the world champion. But I think
who would be pissed off? Kenny's still the champion. I wouldn't be pissed.
No, I mean the fact that he's the heel going in there, I wouldn't mind them seeing like Don Callis does something.
It could piss off a lot. I mean, the hardcores are going to love Kenny, but it definitely would piss off a lot of the casuals in the crowd for sure.
Okay, well, I think Kenny's winning this. I don't see Christian winning. I don't see it. You said you think it's probably not going to go more than 20 minutes. You don't want to see it go 20 minutes. I think.
I don't need to see that.
I don't think that Kenny's going to lose this match for the simple fact. Why would they have thrown Brandon Cutler to the wolves like that? Without trying to just try and make Christian look strong, like he could still win it, and without making Kenny. You see what I'm saying? Like, you're not trying to make Kenny look bad or take anything off of Kenny. Brandon Cutler was able to get beat up. You still make Christian look like a viable contender. It still makes people think that Christian might be able to take this off of Kenny. But regular just wrestling booking 101, based on that finish, Kenny's winning this. And I thought that well before. Like I said, I think Hangman's going to be the one to take it off of him. So I think this is just a filler, somebody to feed to Kenny in the meantime. And yeah, it still gives some buzz, a rub to Impact. They can still use Christian as their Impact champion and whatnot. So it still makes everyone happy. But yeah, I don't think Christian's winning this match.
I think we're all on the same page as that one. I mean, shit, it would be wild if Christian not only beat Kenny, but beat him in 2 straight back-to-back matches. But like I said, man, it's going to be a crazy week. We just gave you our recap All Out. But like I said, Thursday, GCW is here in fucking Detroit. I'm going to be there. Dom is going to be there with me. If you guys see us, feel free to stop us. Kyle, hopefully we're going to see you down there. And then
My
Saturday,
locks are pretty recognizable. You guys will notice us.
And then on Saturday, we're going to be there at GCW Art of War before all this goes down at All Out. So it's going to be a great time. So I'm looking forward to it. I appreciate all of you guys coming to check us out. It was great.
Show those cups.
Right, dude. I don't have mine.
Cups.
I don't have mine in front of me.
What is wrong with you, bro? You got to show your sponsors some love.
Mine I know mine's literally in my dishwasher right now, but shout out to Kathy. Shout out to Kathy. Shout out to Twisted Tumblers. We appreciate you for making us the cup. That was so dope.
You know how much I like my cup, actually, Dom?
So much it's in the dishwasher?
That I use it so much that I don't just use it on the show. That's how much I like that cup. So.
Right. Not enough to wash it before the show, though.
Not enough to be able. No, what it is I intake a substance once in a while that alters your memory.
Okay.
And I
well
tend to forget these things before showtime. Okay.
Son of a bitch.
Some adult rated fun caused him.
I was not ready for that, but we are ready for some adult rated fun in Chicago. That's about as great as any of a place to preview what adult rated fun when we get to Chicago.
Mine is the Vegas you were in last weekend.
Right? I know, man. I mean, shit. As if I didn't get enough in Vegas, we're headed to Chicago. We're going to be linking up with the homie Ryan McKinnell from Busted Open at the Cubs game. We will be there and hopefully link up with some of the Nation members down there at the Busted Open party with Ryan and Gabby and Dave LaGreca and all of them. But hey, I just want to say thank you to everybody that came and checked us out. All of Dom's people. Dom
thank you guys for showing up.
Hey, man, bringing in the audience. We appreciate the fans that was checking us out from Germany and shit, too. And Kyle, look, man, I've said this 100 ways to Sunday.
Say it fast because my phone's about to die.
It's always great to have you on the show, man. We appreciate you. We got to have you back more often.
No
but like
problem,
I said,
man.
it was great to have you, man. But
like
I said, we'll have to have you back once we get out of All Out to see who was right out of all of this. I mean, like I said, if you guys haven't already done so, make sure you hit that subscribe button. Make sure you hit that like button. And make sure you hit us up at KO3C Pod and let us know what the fuck you guys think of All Out and everything that you saw here today. Like I said, you'll see Kyle back soon enough. Dom,
follow
we'll
my
definitely
follow my YouTube channel, Team Chaos, Facebook page, Team Chaos on all social media. Hit me up. Hey,
man, like I said, follow the man at Team Chaos. If you're an original fan of Knockouts and 3 Counts, you should already be doing so. Hey, man, I got to make an appearance on World of Chaos. Dom, I appreciate you coming on with us again. I appreciate you bringing the audience with you this time as well. I appreciate you. And what kind of host am I if I don't thank our guest, Ken Bank on it Robles? Make sure you check him out September 10th at the ECW Arena, the 2300 Arena in Philadelphia. He's going to be knocking fools out, and he ain't going to need a kendo stick to do it. So until next time and in the in-between time, if you guys are in Chicago, check us out. If you're at GCW, check us out. And even if you ain't, fuck your couch.